Alright guys, so I got another game, kind of a grudge match of sorts for you. Uh, Last weekend I took my Beastmen to a 3,000 point uncomp tournament and ended up facing Ogres in the final round and tabling them for the win. And this is against that same player, he's out for revenge. Uh, so here on my left I got a Tuskor Chariot, Razgor, kind of this small water feature thing, unit of 5 Raiders. I have my big horde of gore, and I actually have a level 1 with shadow magic in there. Um, the beast banner's not in there, and I'll explain why in a minute. 2 units of harpies in the back, Tuskor Chariot, Razgor. I put the chariot there as kind of a junk drop, and after I did it I realized how dumb it was, because, why would you put a chariot right in front of an obstacle? It was really stupid. Then I got the Bestial Horde with, this isn't my preferred Beast Lord build, but it's one I've been playing with for a little while now. But I do like the blackened plate. It sure is awesome when it comes in handy, which isn't that much, not as much as you'd think. But over here on the right, I have my gore bunker of about 20 gores, and that's where the BSB is. And the reason why he's in there is because my opponent has a Deathcaster with some snipe spells near the center of the table, and so I am absolutely terrified that he's going to snipe my BSB. So the BSB is tucked safely in the back here, and then I have the Shadow Wizard in the Gore Horde, so that if the Gores get into a combat where I really want the BSB in there, I'll be able to use the Shadow Lore attribute to pop him into the unit. At least that's my theory anyway. Okay, and then I have 10 Raiders with a Musician. This is kind of like my level 4 bunker idea that I'm playing around with for a little while. I'm not really sure how it's working out, but I think it does have merit. I like being able to flee through the Herdstone to safety and just being able to move him around really freely with the death magic. Anyway, he's kitted out like so. I have a level 1 with beasts with the ruby ring, and I'm trying out the Staff of Darkoth. I've actually used it before, but I figured 3,000 points, I might as well give it a go since I already have the Hag Tree Fetish in the list. Another unit of 5 Raiders in the Woods, and yep, you got it right, that's a Jabberslythe on the right there. So on the Ogres, I don't know why I'm starting on his left, that's weird. Anyway, he's got 3 Saber Tusks, and I asked him why he had them all so close together, and he just told me that he was banking on getting the first turn. So I thought that was interesting. He's got a Gorger who's not actually deployed there. He's not on the table. And, okay, so he's got 4 Lead Belchers, and that's where his Deathcaster is with the scroll. And then he's got, that lovely unit of 18 Iron Guts. I hate that unit so much. He's got his level 4 with Heavens in there, his Tyrant, and his BSB's rocking the Rune Maw, which I hate that item too. Hellheart, hate that. So he's got a lot of really nasty tricks in that unit, and I'm not really familiar with the Ogre roster, but it looks like he's got about 2,000 points in that one unit. So basically I have to take that unit down in order to win. Okay, so over here he's got a Giant hiding behind the house, and a unit of Mournfangs. I think they have Standard and Musician, and then he's got 2 Saber Tusks over here. So yeah, looking at this army, this is, at first I was very happy to see only 1 unit of Mournfangs, a Giant, no Iron Blasters, but as I was looking at his army, I realized that he's got no points for me to get. I have to go after that big unit, so this is going to be a pretty tricky game. So he does get the first turn lucky for him, and the cats come up. I don't know why there's ignore that little raider model there. I don't know. Otherwise, he just obviously runs at me. He pops his Deathcaster into his Death Star, because obviously, he was gunning for the BSB, and once he saw that I didn't put him in the Gore unit, he didn't want him over there. So yeah, he popped him in there. Here's his left, moving the Giant up. In my turn, I just go ahead and take the easy charge that he gave me into the Saber Tusk on the left. The Pig had a really long, risky charge, and I didn't feel like having him fail it and then getting double charged by 2 kitties. Because with Leadership 6, you really can't mess with losing combat. So I just pulled him back into the left so that only one could charge him. The raider unit moves into the woods to get their cat. And I'm pretty sure Ungor raiders actually hunt saber tusks in their spare time because they are really good at it. So in the middle, bringing the other pig over just to make sure a saber tusk doesn't get through. And everybody just kind of shuffles forward because I feel that with the death magic and the herdstone, he's kind of I'm much more of a ranged threat than he is. So I think I'm going to sit back for a little bit. That yellow gem marker with the dice next to it, he called a comet down, and I'm not really worried about it because, comets hurt, but they don't get any points really. So, I didn't let him cast it. I tried to stop it, but I don't think it's a real big deal. Okay, so yeah, just position the level 4's raider unit so that if the giant charges it, they'll go through the herdstone to safety instead of through the gore unit off the table. And then I bring the harpies over for a little more redirection over here, since I want to need it. Since he's got the Mournfangs over here. Well, the rest of my turn actually goes rather well. You can see the chariot killed its cat, raiders killed theirs. I dropped the Jabberslythe next to the house out of any charge arcs, and if you're within 12 inches of a Jabberslythe at the beginning of the magic phase, you have to take a leadership test, and then you suffer wounds based on whatever you fail by. So both of these saber tusks were outside the leadership bubble, so they both died. So that's nice, and I think he actually ended up putting 2 wounds on the Mournfangs as well. You can see the wound marker next to level 4. He popped the Hellheart in his turn and miscast the level 4 miscast and took a wound. So yeah, the Hellheart was part of the reason why my magic phase wasn't that good this turn. So here's just how things are looking over here. So in his turn, he pulls the saber tusk to the flank of the pig, which is fine with me. No charges from the Iron Guts. He just moves up to the obstacle, brings the lead belchers up. He's been shooting them at the gore unit, and then he's been hitting the chariot with a little bit of magic. So that's what's nicking the wounds on the chariot. Otherwise, these guys just move up. Okay, so you can see that his giant actually charged my level 4's unit who fled through the herdstone, and he panicked my harpy unit somehow, and they're off the table as well. So that's kind of inconvenient. Magic takes a wound off the Beast Lord. You can see he's nicking wounds off the chariot. There's my level 4, kind of in a safe pocket of Beastmen now. So on my turn, I'm moving the chariot, the raiders, and the pig over towards the action, but the pig turns around to keep a close eye on this saber tusk over here. I charged the gores into the lead belchers to just go ahead and get them off the table real quick, bring the pig over for some possible redirection duty. And this picture was taken before I moved the Jabberslythe, so I actually put him behind the giant, the Mournfangs. Because I figure if he can get as many wounds as he can take off the Mournfangs before they get into combat, that's just a good thing. I ended up dropping the Harpies in this position because just to prevent a double charge from the Mournfangs and the Iron Guts onto the best score unit, because that'll kill that unit in one go. So I put the Harpies there so the Mournfangs can't get into the best scores with only one wheel, and that way if he decides to overrun, he'll just bump into the herdstone. In close combat, the Gores beat the Lead Belchers, and they didn't kill him off though, which I was kind of disappointed about. And then I reformed them like so. And to be honest with you, I have no idea why. I don't know why they're still in Horde, because I definitely should have gone deep to pull them out of the charge arc of the Iron Guts. So, alright, so a bit of a mistake there by me. Otherwise, so yeah, obviously he takes the obvious charge with the Iron Guts, goes right into the Gore Horde on his turn. Which, I don't know why I did that. He can't pursue him though, because if he does, he'll hit the pig, and then my best Gores will have him. and he's not going to kill that whole unit in one go. So it was a really stupid mistake that's costing me a combat unit, but it's not giving up any points, so it kind of lessens the sting a little bit. Mornfangs obviously charge the harpies. And here's a blurry picture of the table. Okay, so needless to say, in close combat, the Iron Guts absolutely murder that Gore unit, who's, you flee center to center, so they're now heading towards the top left of the table. Yeah, really stupid mistake on my part. Okay, so the Mornfangs make short work of the Harpies as well. So in my turn, you can see that I can charge the Mornfangs with the Bestigors if I just move straight forward, and then wheel basically right up until I almost touching the Iron Guts. I'll actually hit the Mornfangs first, so I can't, and then they'll have to close the door to me. So the Bestigors actually charge the Mornfangs, and he flees. Now this picture was taken before I'd rolled any dice for charges, but I just wanted to show what was happening. So the Bestigors, they charge the Mornfangs, who flee. I don't redirect because I don't want to charge the Iron Guts, because I want another turn to magic them, to throw a purple sun through them. So I don't redirect into the Iron Guts. The Jabberslythe then declares a charge against the Mornfangs and pushes them. They flee away from the Jabberslythe back into the charge arc of the Bestigors. And since I didn't redirect, the Bestigors are still going to try to execute the charge against the Mornfangs. So no matter how you slice it, he's going to lose the Mornfangs. And so a bit of a mistake there. It's nice to kill a whole unit of Mornfangs like that with basically no effort. So I was very happy to see that. Let's see. Otherwise, I think I failed to rally the Gore, who flee through the Raiders and panic them. Okay, so yeah, the Bestigors complete the charge against the Mornfangs, and when you complete a charge against a fleeing unit, you can get a reform if you pass the leadership test, which they do. And then, so you can see that I dropped the pig in front of his Iron Gut unit, so that I'll get a chance to throw some purple suns through them, and hopefully drop that unit down to a manageable level. So the Jabberslythe failed to charge. You can actually see that I popped both my wizards out of the Gore unit, because he's got the Gorger in my backfield now. So I have my Shadow Wizard facing the Giant, and then my Beast Wizard is on the other side of the Hearthstone. And then in my magic phase, I zap the Giant with the Staff of Darkoth, which does 5 wounds to it. I think it has 6 wounds, so it does. I take it down to 1 wound. And then in my shooting phase, the Raiders shoot it through the eyeball and kill it, and then it falls on them and panics them all. So they're heading for the hills now. But that's fine with me, because they deserve it after that. So otherwise, here's how we're looking. You can see he's got the Gorger on the table. Bailed both the wizards out of the bunker and turned the Raiders around. Because I think Gorgers are frenzied, so if he charges the Raiders, he'll have to just overrun into nothing. So aside from the fact that I have a giant 2,000 point unit of pissed off ogres on my doorstep, it's actually not looking too bad. I feel like I'm doing a pretty decent job of clearing up his junk, because he didn't have that much to begin with. Let's see over here. I think in his turn he charges the Lead Belchers into the Gores, who flee again, and then they redirect into the pig and fail. Iron Guts obviously charged the pig. And interestingly enough, he doesn't charge the Gorger into the Raiders. He just kind of moves them. So, yeah, kind of interesting. All right, so here, obviously in close combat, he murders the pig. In his magic phase, he used all his dice to. I think he's got a couple buffs up on the Iron Gut unit, and then he hexed the Bestigors with a couple spells. I basically just conserved my dice for Comet, and then just let him get buffs and hexes through, because I have no intention of actually charging that unit in my turn. So I just let him have it. So on my turn, I go ahead now. This was kind of tricky. I go ahead and put the Raiders in front of the Iron Guts to just try to speed bump them, and then I'm hoping that the Gorger needs a pretty decent roll to get into the best score. So I'm hoping the Gorger is going to fail. Because if the Gorger fails, I'll get another turn, or we'll fight the combat in my turn, so I'll get a magic phase to, sort the, get the best scores buffed up a little bit. So yeah, but if the Gorger makes the charge, then the Iron Guts will run right through the Raiders into the best scores, and we'll fight it in his turn. So kind of risky, but yeah. Anyway, so I also moved you can see up top, I moved the Jabber Slice to charge in the flank of the Iron Gut unit, and then down here I have my Pig and my Gore unit on standby. If he charges the Gorger in and actually makes it, the best Gores are going to kill him real easy, and then I'll be able to take the Pig and the Gore unit into the flank of the Iron Guts. So basically, I'm lining up my entire army to charge into this Iron Gut unit once it gets into combat with the best Gores. The Gores rally, and the Chariot's just working its way over here. Okay, so yeah, there's the good news. The good news is I got Purple Sun off. The bad news is it landed on my Gore unit, killed half of them, and they're panicked now. Alright, so you can see that my Purple Sun that I threw through a unit, after a bit of arguing over which Ogres were hit, I threw it at kind of a diagonal through the unit. And, when the dust settled, I killed his Mawcaster who failed his Lookout Sir and like 6 or 7 Iron Guts. And the funny thing is that unit is still absolutely horrifying. It's still scary as hell, even though I killed a third of it with that spell. So, yeah, I don't care how you feel about super spells. God bless Purple Sun. Gorger obviously makes it into the flank, so the Iron Guts are going to run through the Raiders, and we're going to be fighting the best Gore combat in this turn. So that's how it's looking. You can see in his front rank, let's see here. My champion is on the left-hand corner of my unit. I actually started putting my unit champs. I used to put them in the center of the unit because it looked nice, but I started putting them on the corners, just so you could do some trickery with the challenges. So here you can see that I challenge with my champ. He takes it with his BSB, so he's got to put his BSB in base contact with the champion, and so that means my level 4 can only be attacked by 1 Iron Gut this turn, and so that means he's pretty much going to survive the turn. So that's nice. Unfortunately, my BSB probably won't. But that's a nice picture of him, though, of my battle standard. I'm pretty proud of the freehand on there. That looks cool. But anyway, yeah. So this is just an absolute brutal combat, and at the end of the round, it looks like that. He's smashed about half my best Gore unit. I took the Tyrant down to 1 wound, put a bunch of wounds on his other characters, and killed a handful of Iron Guts, and he just mauled my best Gore unit. Ate my unit champ, but and he killed my BSB. So yeah, kind of a rough spot to be in, really. So in my turn, I throw in all of my counter charges. Pig failed, so it would really have been nice to have those extra strength 6 attacks on the flank. But he couldn't get in, so the Jabber goes into the left flank, Gore's into the right. And now that Leadbelcher guy was kind of sitting in front of my Jabber Slice and kind of blocking him from getting in. So rather than kind of argue with my opponent about where I could put my Jabber Slice to get him into combat, I just charged the Leadbelcher with the Tuskgore Chariot. It was a max range charge, but I just declared just to get him out of the way to avoid the confrontation. Anyway, so that's what he's doing there, and this is how the combat's looking. Okay, so I think my magic phase is an absolute disaster, actually, because I think I roll up a decent amount of dice, and I think I throw half at a wild form on the best Gores to protect them and to crunch his characters a little bit easier. to make him strength 7 to help him get through the ogre characters pretty easily. But I failed to cast. I throw 4 or 5 dice at the wild form and fail to cast it, so it was horrible. So basically, he was able to throw all of his dispel dice at Purple Sun and stop it. So yeah, so now I know this is just not gonna go well at all. So at the end of the combat, it looks like that. He completely destroys the Bestigor unit with all my characters in it, so they're gone. At the end of the day, though, he only won the combat by 2, and my Gores broke, even though they were steadfast, and the Jabberslythe also broke. So he's got 3 Iron Guts, his BSB, and his Slaughtermaster left. So that sucks. Over here is going terrible as well. The yellow marker was a comet. He called a comet down on my Gore unit that was fleeing around over here, killed half of it, and then he charged him. Super long bomb flying charge with the Saber Tusk, and kills that unit. So the chariots over here, having failed to charge against the Lead Belcher, push him out of the way. But you can see that on my turn I was able to rally the Jabberslythe, and brought a pig over to just kind of. I put the pig there because I want at least one of these guys to be in his flank. I don't want to be fighting him front to back or anything like that, because they'll get more attacks. I need somebody on his flank. So basically, in my last glory charge of the game, in a desperate bid to, get some points and possibly even win the combat, but that's a long shot. But I go ahead and take the Razorgore and the Jabberslythe into his BSB. I'm going to try to kill his BSB. And then, hopefully, maybe by some miracle, he'll fluff his rolls and I'll win the combat or something. And then I try to throw a wild form on one of these guys, and fail. So anyway, but it's not meant to be. He kills the pig, and the Jabberslythe holds, but he just reforms to face him like so, and that's actually the end of the game. I think that was the last turn of the game. So just a crushing defeat for the Beastman. He's got his 3 Iron Guts and his Slaughtermaster left, so he's actually holding about 1,200 points right here, and he's got that, and I have my Jabberslythe, a Shaman or 2, and a Tuskor Chariot. So he's very much up in points, so a huge victory for the Ogres. So that 18 Iron Gut unit is just insanely tough to crack. But anyway, it was fun bringing the Jabberslythe out. Even though he sucks, he's absolutely horrible, but it was fun flying him around and all that. So maybe we'll see more of the Jabberslythe in the future. But anyway, that was the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys later.